What if I told you that you weren't you? That you were two separate beings? Yet the you see every day is responsible for both of them. I think I'm crazy, something delusional. Okay, how many times have you gotten into a financial bind, a judicial bind, or something that we consider plain stupid? You must fully grasp and understand the difference of the dual you as it pertains to the public and the private you, in lieu of the straw man that was created and not disclosed to the people throughout history. Today I will be speaking about American history in lieu of the straw man. I will explain and define who and what the straw man is before moving on to his creation and the historical impact it has had on us as so-called citizens. So what and who is the straw man? Let me tell you. Straw man is defined in Black's Law Dictionary, 6th edition. A front, a third party who is put up in name only to take part in transaction, nominal party to a transaction, one who acts as an agent for another for the purpose of taking title to real property and executing whatever documents and instruments the principal may direct respecting the property. Person who purchases property for another to conceal identity of real purchaser or to accomplish some purpose otherwise not allowed. We've been deceived because we don't really understand who and what a straw man is. You see, there's no telling when this deception began. But one of the first major events was incorporation of the United States in 1871, with the final act occurring in 1878. It appears from the statutes and laws that this was the only incorporation of the District of Columbia. But in the final act, the phrase District of Columbia or United States is used, making the phrases interchangeable and allowing the United States to operate as a corporation, a fictitious state, a fictitious country. The so-called government is not the government created by the Constitution. It is a corporation operating in commerce for profit. See, you must look at Title 28, United States Code, Section 3002. This says United States means a federal corporation, an agency, department, commission, board, or other entity of the United States or an instrumentality of the United States. This would include states, counties, and cities. Every transaction is now considered by the U.S. Incorporated to be a commercial transaction by fictional entities, fictions at law. What is fictions of law? A fiction at law or legal fiction is an artificially created entity that is only contemplated in law. In other words, it is not real, except in the eyes of the law written by men. Legal fictions are the opposites of natural entities such as people. A created legal fiction is endowed by the law to have some privileges that resemble the rights that people have, such as the right to hold property and to sue and be sued. The most common legal fictions are corporations and trusts. These have been around for quite some time, with the main purpose being to limit the liability of the people holding a corporation or trust, allowing them to not be personally responsible for their actions. Legal fictions are not compatible with the common law, which is the law of our land, which was founded upon. In common law, everyone is responsible for his own actions and is held accountable and responsible for any wrongdoing. Okay, does anyone yet grasp the concept of what the straw man might pertain to? Probably not. I'm hoping that I put a notch in the wall that you put up around yourself, thinking the everyday thought process when it comes to the world that you live in, and you think it's real simple. And you might ask yourself, what does this have to do with me? Okay. In 1933, the governors of all states met to discuss the emergency declared by FDR, Franklin D. Roosevelt, and to support the new process as it being established. The government was in bankruptcy and had to be funded in the state of bankruptcy. The governors made a pledge in the United States Corporated to fund it. The pledge was that the assets and the energy of the people would back the government and secure the debt. But there was one little problem. Natural living people cannot mix with legal fictions, corporations. So it was necessary to create a bridge between the fictions and the people to bring the people under to make them subservient to the government corporation. Hence, what became. If this can be seen, this is a copy of a birth certificate. Now, doesn't it look the same? Why? These two look the same. This is a bond. Money. A legal monetary instrument. Same as your birth certificate. See, when the governors made the pledge, they agreed to register the birth certificates of the people with the U.S. Department of Commerce. The birth certificate is the security instrument collateral used to back up the pledge. The legal fiction was created by using the name on the birth certificate and writing it in all capital letters. The designation for a legal fiction. Then, because of the pledge, you were determined to be surety, the one who is responsible to pay, and for the legal action or the legal fiction. So when the government or any corporation uses any process whatsoever, they are using it against the legal fiction, which they want you to think is you. But when your name is written in all capital letters, it is not your name. It is a designation of a legal fiction that is an entirely separate entity. A living human cannot be a legal fiction, and the legal fiction cannot be a living human being. One is real or natural, the other is created by law. Whenever a government agency, such as the court, determines liability, it is a liability of the legal fiction or straw man, since everything is done in commerce. You are presumed as evidenced by the pledge of your governor to be the surety of the straw man, and you must pay the liability. This is the basis of the straw man. What I would do now is give you more in depth. Straw man was born the same time you were. Your birth certificate bonded you to the government, and you became a ward of the state, and they use your birth certificate to fund their bankruptcy. So now you are liable for whatever the straw man is, and that's the legal fiction against the surety of you, the public, and the private. The private being the straw man, the public being you. You are here responsibility. It is your time to open your eyes, wake up, and realize and find your straw man.